tonight with President Trump. Two words that continue to sound wrong together, sort of like horse pope or Dr. Oz. And this was a week of diplomacy for the president, or as it turned out, the opposite of that.
President Trump hosting Chancellor Angela Merkel at the White House today. Will be their first face-to-face meeting since Mr. Trump ridiculed the chancellor on the campaign trail, accusing her of, quote, ruining Germany.
Wow. Well, first, that is a major insult, because historically the title of Chancellor synonymous with ruining Germany is pretty much taken. And second, it's got to be awkward to meet someone that you've talked so much shit about. Personally, that is why I never leave the house, because I know Johnny Depp is somewhere out there, presumably vaping into a supermodel's vagina while he mansplains acting. And if you are thinking that Trump made an extra effort to smooth things over, you would be wrong, because watch what happened when the media at a photo op made a very routine request.
Thank you. Okay.
Oh, shake her hands, you weird man! It is not often that you can genuinely say Trump really should have touched that woman. Because, look at him. He's just staring straight ahead, refusing to make eye contact. He's treating the Chancellor of Germany like a drunk guy masturbating in a subway car. And it did not get any less tense at their joint press conference, because as you probably know, Trump has been standing by his nonsensical claim that President Obama had him wiretapped. And when a German reporter asked him about that, he tried to pull Merkel into it with him.
As far as wiretapping, I guess, by, this past administration, at least we have something in common, perhaps.
Now, what that very funny joke is referring to is the allegation that the US had monitored Merkel's phone, and she is not amused by that. In fact, that may be the most uncomfortable a US president has ever made her, and I will remind you, George W. Bush once gave her an unsolicited surprise back rub. And it wasn't just Germany dragged into Trump's wiretapping mess, because his press secretary and special guest on the Gilmore Girls reboot, Melissa McCarthy, suddenly brought a British spy agency into it too.
Sean Spicer, the president's press secretary, has backed claims that GCHQ was involved in tapping phones for Barack Obama.
He didn't use the NSA, he didn't use the CIA, he didn't use the FBI, and he didn't use the Department of Justice. He used GCHQ.
Wow. Now, that is going to piss off the British, and you do not want to piss off the British, because if you do, we will say, oh dear, shake our heads, swallow the anger, and carry it around until we die. Because think about what he's actually alleging there. He is suggesting a US president enlisted a foreign intelligence service to spy on a political adversary. That is an explosive charge. Perhaps that is why the NSA's deputy director told the BBC it was arrant nonsense, revealing a complete lack of understanding in how the relationship works. And for their part, GCHQ called the accusations utterly ridiculous. And yet, rather than distancing himself from Spicer, Trump decided to back him up.
All we did was quote a certain very talented legal mind who was the one responsible for saying that on television. That was a statement made by a very talented lawyer on Fox. And so you shouldn't be talking to me, you should be talking to Fox.
No, we should be talking to you about it because you're the fucking president and you're repeating it. He only said it because he heard it on television is barely an acceptable excuse for why your parrot said a racial slur. No, we've been watching The Wire. We've been watching The Wire. Oh, and so you know, that very talented legal mind that Trump's talking about is this guy. Fox News contributor Judge Andrew Napolitano, a man whose persona is so overwhelmingly non-authoritative, I just assumed he was a judge in the Judge Reinhold sense of the word. Spicer...
It's S04E06.